welcome back to Timeless RC. Today we've got a bit of a difference. We're going to be opening a model aircraft kit today. So it's something for the aircraft people that hopefully will start following the channel if you're not following already. So let's start cracking on opening it. This is an older vintage kit which I started flying when I was back at school around the age of 13 or something like that. It might have been 12. And when I came 16 it became an adult membership price for the insurance. So instead of being like £16, which today is probably a lot more than that to be honest, it went up to 4 or 5 times that cost, and I just couldn't afford it, obviously being at school or leaving school. So I stopped flying back then. To be honest, I gone out of touch with the cars as well for a while. I've sort of got back into it in the last 10-15 years possibly, but more so in a big way than I was back then even. So, hence the channel. So, trying to work out how this has been packed. Looks like it's a mixture of packages. Not the easiest things to pack and make sure they arrive safely. So that's that one. Let's crack on with that other. Might be getting somewhere. This is an aircraft which I always liked back then, but I was more of an aerobatic flyer back in the day, and I always thought the slower aircraft, even though they looked amazing in the sky, were a bit too sort of boring to fly. So as you grow up you start to realise that they're not actually. They are scale aircraft of the real thing. Obviously this is as you'll see from the title, so I can reveal it without worrying. And it's the Puppeteer, which is actually a version of the Sopwith Pup from back in the World War II, I think it was. So this is obviously going to be a little bit more labour intensive when it comes to building this. So it's not going to be a case of 4 or 5 shorter videos. I'm probably going to have to film this, to be fair, in time lapse, so that you can still see the process, but you're not sat there for days and days watching, because that will get boring. So I'll try and make it as interesting and as fun as I can. Let's just put that on the floor. Right, so let's crack into the bubble wrap. A bit of tape off of that. Off my finger. Right. So careful we don't cut the packaging. Although saying that, where this is an older kit, the packaging or the box is actually slightly damaged. But at the end of the day, it's the contents that are the main thing, and I know that there are some of the wing cover parts that go across the ribs which are slightly damaged, I think, with the age. And you can see the box as well where it's been stored in the loft. But it is the Puppeteer, which is that version, which is the biplane. Biplanes I've always been interested in because obviously they're something a little bit different, but they're a bit more difficult to fly. So I've had several, but I've never actually flown them. I've got a, what is it now? It's the name slips. it's a sport aerobatic. Just cannot think what the name of the kit is at the moment now, but it's well known. It normally has red and white stripes. You will know what I mean. By the time I've finished, I'll probably have remembered. So if I do, I'll put it in the bottom of the text. I'll put a bit of text to say. But this is a Flair kit, and as I say, this is from probably, I would imagine date-wise, probably about 1980s, if not before that. Just trying to see if it says anything on the box. Judging by the way the box is faded and deteriorated, it's going to have some age to it. So yeah, because there were a couple of versions of the Puppeteer. There was the original version, which this is, because this is on, as you'll see, is on tracing, and the modern, the Mark II version of the Puppeteer is on sort of a more normal paper. So you've got your plans, which I won't spread them out, because what I will need to do for building the planes, I need to actually make this desk slightly wider to cover all sorts of things. So there's obviously nuts and bolts that come out of the kit there. Yeah, these are the strips of balsa that I'm talking about. They sort of go across the top of the ribs so that you can apply your solar film, or a cover as it's now called, so you get the effect. But I think not Aura cover, there's a fabricy version, which is what the Sopwith pup is normally covered with, because it gives it the age of back in the time when they were actually flown. I'm not going to get it all out of the box, but you can see, because you'll never get it all back in the box again, but you'll see that the whole thing is there, including the aluminium cowl, which you can see from there. So that one will be being built at some stage, but it will probably be a case of building it in between cars and helicopters and things, because obviously this is going to be rather time consuming, like I said, and I don't want to just carry on doing one thing. Obviously at the moment I've still got a couple of things to finish off, like the CR01, the Toyota Land Cruiser, which I'm just waiting on some polycarbonate cleaner so I can clean off the edges where the paint's bled into the masking. Then I can get the white done, and then we're finished. So hopefully once I get that the polycarbonate cleaner, it shouldn't be long before that's complete. Then I can do a running video. But so this one will be on the back burner at the moment, but look out for it in the future, because it's something that I used to love doing when I was younger, and that was building the planes, and it's something I have missed in the years, because unfortunately the modern planes tend to be almost ready to fly, ATRF, and I think it takes out some of the satisfaction, I think. Yeah, I know you spend hours building a plane, and then if something goes wrong it crashes, but that's the joy of it. It makes you a better pilot. So in all the times I've flown when I was younger, the only time I had one severe crash, and it was past sunset, and there was a tree on the path of the approach to landing, and I slightly misjudged it with the sun shining, and it caught the wing and flung it into the ground. But luckily it didn't actually do too much. It tore off the front engine mount, so it was a case of a slight repair for that, and a little bit of a dent in the wing, which was easy enough to repair. But other than that, I haven't had any major crashes, so hopefully that's not jinxing it for the future. And I need to find a club again, because our local club where I used to fly has moved from there now. It's not just up the road from where I am, where it used to be. It's now in Winchester, so it's quite a drag to drive up there. So I need to see if I can find a more local sort of field or something that will be prepared for me to fly from. Obviously you need the insurance and that from the BMFA, so that's another thing I need to look at doing. But something different for the channel, and as I say, I don't want to just concentrate on cars, because there's several others that do that and they do it really well. So I want to be different. I want to stand out in a different way. I want to be known for all sorts of things, like cars, planes, trucks, boats, helicopters. Because obviously I said we've got some helicopters to restore, which will be later on down the line, and I've got the mini one which you've seen before up there to learn to fly with, because I've only ever flown on a simulator with the helicopter. I have had, what have I have had? 4 helicopters over the years, and I've built them and I've never flown them because I've been too scared to crash it. so it's something new, so I wanted to follow it through this time, and I want to actually become, you know, a decent helicopter pilot as well as an aircraft pilot. I used to be very good at planes, but obviously I'm going to have to start from scratch again because things change, and our eyesights and our reactions aren't quite as quick as and as good as they used to be when we were younger. So it's all a sort of new thing for me as well. So watch out for that in the future. For now, on that note, I will say happy RCing. If you'd like to like and subscribe, it'd be much appreciated, because that's how the channel grows. And thank you for your continued support.